Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Empire Earth. I'm the serious JG and I'm getting a text. Maybe it's not worth starting this. Let us see what this text is. But whether or not I'm going to record a video right now. It is a cute picture of my nephew doing stuff. It's Christmas as I recorded this, folks. This was not the plan, but it's what's happening. So, sneaking in a little video on Christmas Day itself. Hope you enjoy. I will say this. I believe it was a Allied General game where I spent like 15 minutes talking about what gifts I was giving my nephews. Well, particularly my one nephew I talked about, I think, a lot. And now they have been given with various levels of success. So I'm going to try not to go overboard. I'll tell you this. If you're watching both series, he really liked his Mikey action figure. He didn't recognize the one I hoped he would just treat as JJ and declared it evil JJ. And later said he threw it away because it was too scary. Although we actually found it on the floor where he had ripped many of the decals off of it. But, yeah, he's not shy about telling you which toys were a hit and which toys were a miss. But I think evil JJ may be salvaged. They may just put new stuff on it to make it kind of look the right color. But that's the main reason you came, to hear about that. But the second reason you guys came is to see some more Empire Earth. And we are going to begin the German campaign. The independent German states united in the late 19th century, to form the most powerful single nation in Europe. I mean, you could make an argument about that. Because we're talking like when they first formed. But during the first half of the following century, Germany's unparalleled armed forces were barely kept in check by the combined might of opposing alliances. I mean, they had allies too. Let's not discount those proud Italian fascists. Anyway, lead the forces of Germany through some of the most destructive yet historically significant years in world history. That gets into a debate about which years are more historically significant than others. People, particularly if they run the History Channel, I guess the History Channel's changed a lot, but I remember during the 90s, the Mystery Science Theater gag about the History Channel was that it was the all-Hitler channel, because World War II documentaries using World War II footage were cheap to make, and just people were fascinated by World War II. Well, we'll get there, folks, but we got to do World War I first. This should be the end of me having played ahead, but it's hard to say. I play ahead when I have long visits home and don't feel like playing, you know, the original StarCraft or StarCraft 2 with this, or even Warcraft 3 remastered, reforged, whatever, with the sound down. But I did play a little bit of this. I got to the Red Baron. The Red Baron is it's an interesting one. It's a scenario it's really difficult to lose. But it's also really difficult to win. It's just a scenario where you're just staring. It's World War I trench combat. Like, everything you want to do takes a million years in that scenario. But we got to get through Cavalry of the Sky first. And we probably, as ever, want to concentrate on things that will improve the troops we'll be using in the final scenario. This one, it's weird. Like, should I spoil it? The German scenario kind of ends with a successful land invasion of Britain, which of course never happened. The Germans never attempted the land invasion of Britain. But video games and historical documentaries love talking about it. The fact that the Germans had, not surprisingly, they had operational plans for what that would look like. It would have been Operation Sea Lion. So the fact that it has a name is enough to get people all excited about it, even though it never happened. This game doesn't touch on the eastern front of World War II at all. Maybe they couldn't find ways to make it that different from. Well, you know, now that I think on it, they don't usually have you playing historical battles that you should lose. So, like, there's no French scenario where you play Waterloo. So, like a German campaign where you play Stalingrad. Yeah, having you do the fictional Sea Lion scenario and win and take over England is more of a big victory than winning the big German battle, which was probably the big turning point against them, but it's not like they automatically win the war if they win at Stalingrad either. Let's stop talking about World War II and get to World War I with Cavalry of the Sky. Cavalry of the Sky, summer 1915.
The early days of aviation were exciting and dangerous times.
Cavalry!
A sputtering engine, a wooden frame, and a skin of fabric were all that kept the first flyers in the air.
Zum Himmel dann Nacht, kein
Following the
Maul.
outbreak of the Great War in 1914,
Great War.
pilots had an additional danger to contend with.
Wokeness.
Bullets.
Oh.
Manfred Freiherr von Richthofen has been assigned to the newly created German Air Force as an observer. He and his pilot Hulk have flown behind the lines of the Eastern Front to photograph the current positions of the retreating Russian army. But near the city of Wisnice, they encounter a barrage of ground fire.
You mean Foyer?
With their plane full of holes and billowing smoke, they are forced to ditch. Now, deep in Russian-held territory, they must try to salvage their mission and survive their journey back to German headquarters.
Yeah, so this game has decided to give us Ludwig von German guy as a narrator for a while, which is like they didn't have a guy doing a Greek accent for the Greek campaign. The guy doing the British campaign didn't sound particularly British, but like there's just a thing where people love doing German accents, and I've fallen prey to it. If you're German and you watch the channel, I apologize if my accent is offensive or silly. I do a lot of silly. And this is the one area where I don't have to feel that bad, because I do other silly accents. Germans, like the Irish and to a lesser degree the Italians, they can gripe about how come it's okay to make fun of the way we talk, but not the way any other ethnic group talks. And then I guess they've got a point. But because I kind of skirt with the bounds of what's in good taste with doing accents anyway, I probably am going to be okay here. And, you know, if you don't want people associating your accent with a military stereotype, then, you know, don't start 2 world wars, I guess. But anyway, yeah, so, and my favorite, I really do like the British guy from Allied General and the Russian guy from Allied General. But the German guy from Panzer General, your services are no longer needed. He's pretty fun. But no, so this is a no build, as they call them. This is a dungeon crawl mission where we have 2 German heroes. You see, they got him. He's dressed as a goddamn Nazi officer. What the fuck? But Richthofen and his pilot, Count Hulk, must travel west, where they can be rescued by advancing German troops. But Richthofen and Hulk must survive. Achtung, Achtung. As I think I've revealed elsewhere in these Let's Play, I took German in high school, so I can usually do a good run at pronouncing the words correctly, but I don't remember very much of it at all. I remember the pronunciation rules for different consonants and vowel combinations more than I remember a lot of the vocabulary. German grammar is I remember it being nice and organized and straightforward. It doesn't have a lot of irregular verbs and exceptions. It does have some. And they're much as in English, they're old words that have been around for a very long time are the verbs that will tend to have irregular forms. Newer verbs are going to be extremely regimented, as one would expect. But no, it was always my worst subject, probably because I would get frustrated because I'm, you know, you feel free to disagree, but I'm a reasonably smart guy, and when I'm being serious and not goofing around, I can be articulate in a professional situation. So the handicap of working in a second language and knowing that even if I had a really smart thing to say, I wasn't skilled enough with language to say it well would be frustrating and counterproductive and blah, blah, blah. But I definitely remember learning some key phrases, like the vocab books would teach you phrases that were supposed to be useful as a way of introducing new verbs and nouns and whatever, or tenses. Like, you know, you spend all the first several chapters, you're always speaking in present tense directly to another person. You're never speaking in the third person. You're never speaking about the past or future, blah, blah, blah. You're never making a command. You're always just stating observational stuff. But I do remember there would be phrases that you would learn in German that were supposed to be useful. And my favorite, and this was from like year 4 or 5 textbook, it was a crazy. The phrase you were supposed to remember was "Wir machen ihre eigene Wurst," which, and over the years, I think I may have like morphed it and like dropped a word or messed it up. But I pretty clearly remember a German textbook where we were supposed to memorize the phrase "Wir machen ihre eigene Wurst," which would mean we make our own sausage. And it was from a unit that was talking about, like, you know, a farm or something. But I would always think, you know, if I ever go to Germany, and I've been to Germany before, as I was in Germany as a college student, just visiting because I was spending a semester in the UK, and part of what was frustrating about being there was that in the West, nobody would give you an opportunity to speak German. Like, they would identify you as an American immediately and speak better English at you than your German was. The one time I tried to do something in German, I very clearly asked for zwei Studententicket. I asked for 2 student tickets very clearly, and the guy tried to charge me full price and then told me I hadn't specified student tickets when I knew I had, and I just figured that guy was an asshole. But generally, I just didn't get to practice my German until I got to East Germany and met some people who were old enough that they had been brought up when East Germany was in the Soviet bloc and English wasn't taught in school. And then we just couldn't we were just barely able to hold a conversation, and the guys were just kind of, it was at a beer hall, which is the only reason they were just like talking to the person next to them because we're in a beer hall, and they kind of weren't that interested in talking to this American but I was so excited to speak German to somebody who wasn't just answering me back in English. But anyway, folks, wir machen ihr eigene Wurst, and we also need to make sure that Richthofen and Hulk survive.
Look ahead. Wiesnice is burning.
Wiesnice?
Should we go round?
Nonsense. We fly straight through.
Why is Wiesnice burning? What happened?
What has happened? I'm losing control. The engine is dying.
No fear. It is stupid, after all, to die so needlessly a hero's death.
Stupid? Clink, you idiot!
We've been hit by Russian fire. What excitement, eh, Manfred? But we live, though I have lost all my equipment in the flames.
And I have only my camera, my pistol, and a few bullet cartridges. We'd best get going. If we travel west, we should meet our advancing army.
I think there's this weird leaning out trusting pose there that I didn't like at all. Alright. So we have Manfred von Richthofen and Count Hulk and a wrecked albatross. So all we can do is get on with the adventure. Here's Poland, which I guess is neutral? I don't know. Some place was burning. There's no comment on why it might be burning. Could it have to do with the fact that we've been bombing it? I don't know. Bombing was a thing in World War I. Aerial bombardment. It wasn't, wasn't at the level that it was at in World War II, but it did exist. Oh, it's nice to know that Manfred von Richthofen is just a ranged attacker. But Count Hulk is a hero unit with battlecry power, so that's good to know. Oh, and we're supposed to be heading, oh, we got civ points to spend? Not yet. So we're supposed to be advancing our actual mission here. Or does it even tell us our mission? We can't click on the thing to tell us our mission, but we're supposed to be advancing towards this German held territory here. Luckily, we're within a brisk walk of Germany. Or at least the German front.
Of course.
Hello, Poles. There will never be tension between us. We are your friends.
My wife! My poor wife!
Good sir. What is the matter?
Russian soldiers from the barracks just ahead have stolen all our food and taken my wife. My brothers and I could not stop them, for we have no weapons save our pitchforks.
Anything can be done. We shall do it.
And
True gentlemen do any less?
anything can be done, we shall do it, even if it means, doing terrible things to your country during the next 2 wars. Pitchforks! Like, I don't even know, like, the guy went Scottish for a second. All we have is our pitchforks! So we have to travel west where they can be rescued by advancing German troops. They have to survive, and we have to help Joseph by helping his wife Zofia from saving his wife Zofia from the Russians. I don't doubt that Zofia is in a bad place if, like, just regular Russian troops have grabbed her along the way.
Yeah?
But there's something about the gentleman German flyers I don't want to go off into a long aside, but like, there's a romanticism around the World War I flyers, which really, like, yeah, check out the Blackadder season 4 has a pretty good take on this, actually. This romantic notion of the gentleman flyers. It's like the last gasp of the nobles, who really show off their nobility in times of war, deserve to be treated better than you common scum. Like, it's the last gasp of this, like, Middle Ages version of the nobleman is the person who's given all of the gear to actually be able to fight in combat, and regular peasants deserve to die in mass numbers as they fight in a war where they are not similarly armed. But certainly the Germans had the skill to keep up with the British in this realm, and there's a reason von Richthofen is kind of a legend, with his own frozen pizza named after him in the States. But I need to try to hold off on talking about World War II stuff till we get to World War II, because World War I was different. World War I was about a country in Germany that felt like they were, you know, kind of had been neglected. They'd never been given the chance to have an empire, which was their right. They were being sneered down upon by these other imperial powers, and just a lot of resentment. And World War II was, well, it was the same thing with weird racial stuff put on top, actually. But let's continue on with this adventure. Let's go rescue this, presumably, she's Polish, but hopefully she's not too Slavic, or, you know, because I have no idea what Manfred von Richthofen's thoughts on Slavic peoples was. He's the gentleman flyer. The gentleman thief, Trilby.
Now for some sport.
Leave her alone, you swine!
Schweinehund?
Germans? To arms! To arms!
What the fuck accent's he supposed to have? Germans?
Your target? Yeah? We are under attack.
Oh, Joseph, thank God in heaven I am free.
Thank God in heaven I am free. Oh, look at her.
Well, we must now face our foes with only my camera, as my pistol is empty.
Do you have infinite ammo as whatever it takes to kill the... I want to hold on to this shot as long as I can. Look at her. She's a goddess. Okay, well, we've lost her in the... we lost her because she got out of the visual range of these guys. But he's now out of ammo. But there is a mechanic whereby it might be useful for us to approach this barracks. But never mind, that moment has passed. Or no, it hasn't started yet. We're going to get an objective that's going to involve approaching some of the German position or Russian positions without being detected. It would be nice if right in the middle of this fight the Russians withdraw from the war because of the October Revolution, but oh, there she is. Look at her. Just look at her. Oh, look at him. He's so excited.
My dearest Zofia is safe. There must be some way I can repay you.
We are seeking a path through the forest, going west.
My brothers and I will gladly assist you.
You know, I'll make fun of it endlessly, but this was just the ticket when I had kind of finished StarCraft. I believe this probably came out around the same time, when Age of Empires wasn't quite doing it for, like, RTS with just a little bit of goofy story element to it. This was exactly what I needed when this game came out. My brothers and I will help you. Yes, Vic, yes. You know, like, but you go and you do little things, and there's like little quests that they don't do a wonderful or perfect job of this, but it's pretty cool. Like, this is a genre I like. I wish there was more RTS that had voice acting and story bits, you know. Do I control these guys now? Oh, I do. But there's very little that they can actually do. They can cut down this tree, and that's basically what's going to happen. I'll never have control over Zofia. There's Joseph and Andresi,
Yes?
Stanislaw, and Joseph.
Your target? Of course.
But I can't have them, like, for example, build a barracks and start producing units to help them escape. We don't get to start our own little, like, German-Polish civilization here.
Once more.
Into the breach, once more.
You should now be safely on your way west. Thank you again for saving my beloved Zofia.
Who is still here, by the way. Alright, so we have lost control of them. We had to manually set them to chop down a single tree. But now we have 5 points to spend, which I think we can bank for a later time. Let's go ahead. As fun as that was, I really truly did enjoy that little section. Let's throw down a save here. This is going to mean, hold on, this is actually going to mean saving over my off-screen game that I might have to pick up before this holiday trip's done. So we'll call this Germany too. Ja? Sturm und Drang, ja. So Sturm und Drang is an actual term. But there's also a fun Mystery Science Theater bit where TV's Frank is trying to pretend to be a German scientist and he goes, Ja, ja, Sturm und Drang, ja. He's like trying to say Sturm und Drang and it's just like Sturm und Drang, ja, which doesn't really mean anything, but it's kind of fun. So here's the Russian lines.
An old artillery depot. If I can get up close to sites such as this, I can photograph them and still complete our scouting mission.
Sehr gut.
Your target? Of course.
So which one has the camera? Count Holk has the camera. So we have to explore the sector and photograph a total of 4 Russian outposts. Most of these outposts contain barracks, so be careful. My recall from having goofed around with it off screen, I was trying to see if I could do 100% clear and photograph all the outposts for extra civ points. But once you photograph 4, whichever 4 you photograph, it stops giving you the option to photograph anymore. So as far as I know, there's no way to like do this like extra plus to get an extra reward. You just got to find 4 things and photograph them. So some of them are just going to be more, like, have more risk associated with them than others. I guess it's not Count Hulk. I guess it's Baron von Richthofen who has to do it.
This site has been photographed. Of course. Sehr gut. Of course.
So this basically just encourages you to explore the map a bit. And you can get some information to help out. The second half of the campaign is going to be actually more of a traditional build mission. Though it's nowhere near as frustrating as the third one in the campaign, because you just start with a lot more stuff and can try to bowl over the Russians and get to a specific objective quickly. Well, here's another Polish city. Oh, but this is Russian.
Your target? Of course. What's more?
So we have to try to get to stuff without...
Sehr gut.
Oh no, those are Russian, but like, okay, I'm not... I think if you approach a barracks, troops come out.
Of course.
And I'm not sure if I could ever lose them.
Sehr gut.
Let's give this a shot. Can I photograph this and then get away?
This site has been photographed.
Okay.
If we can photograph 2 more sites such as this, we will have all the information our troops need to control this sector. Man.
So we are getting more points for photographing these. It's just that we can't go beyond... Like, there's a certain number we're going to get before we can advance the story. And that's all we're going to get.
Of course. What's more? Of course.
So this one counts. They've all got barracks. Like, there's none where I think we go in there and there's no risk of getting spotted.